I'm Lyn Jarvis, contributing editor for Across the Fence, and welcome to Thailand. Today's adventure begins in Chiang Mai, the largest and most culturally significant city in northern Thailand, to see the sacred temple of Pratar Doi Suthep, where many believe the shoulder bone of Lord Buddha is kept. We'll visit the hillside village of Ma Khoi Tam to see the women who wear those brass rings to stretch their necks, and the famous Masa elephant camp, where I'm hoping to get an elephant kiss. And I'm already feeling right at home with the McDonald's just across the street there. A lot to see and do, so let's get started. Our first stop will be what many consider the most unique temple in the Kingdom of Thailand, called Ron Kun, or the White Temple. It is the vision of artist Chelum Thai Kosit Pipot, who is building it completely at his own expense. A devoted Buddhist, he began construction in 1997 and predicts he will complete the temple during his lifetime. Every detail of Ron Kun carries deep religious symbolism, though most don't understand much of its meaning until reading descriptions along the way or doing some homework before visiting. Departing from the traditional gold, he chose to construct the temple in white, symbolizing the purity of Lord Buddha. The mirrors embedded in its structure reflect light, representing Buddha's wisdom shining out across the earth and universe. Most of the messages refer to escaping desire, greed, and passion while moving towards the sublime through the teachings of Lord Buddha. To reach the main temple, you cross a threshold guarded by this fierce figure, Rahu, who controls the fate of mankind. Best to be on his good side. Then you cross a bridge with ghostly hands reaching up from the cycle of death and rebirth, and you become a part of the artist's surreal vision that blends the best and worst of humankind. What took years for Chelum Thai to build took only moments for an earthquake to destroy. On May 5th, just 9 days after our visit, a 6.3 magnitude earthquake rocked the White Temple. It was heavily damaged, but immediately he announced that he would rebuild it in 2 years, promising to devote the rest of his life to the work. It is always a treat to see places that are on the road less traveled, and this was one of those adventures. We climbed aboard these jeeps converted into open-air tour buses, and we were on our way to who knows where. About 5 miles later, we arrived at La Valle, a small family-run resort that has been in business since 1999. We were met by some local children waiting to sing for us in return for a few coins. Our dollar is worth about 32 Thai bahts. After their welcoming song, we made our way to the restaurant for lunch, where we were served a delicious meal with everything organically grown by farmers who lived within walking distance. Some chose the fish caught in a nearby lake, and I chose chicken on a skewer that was very good. And dessert was fresh mango just picked from a nearby tree. I'm not a big fan of mango, but I soon discovered that anything right off the tree is delicious. I had seconds. Our guide, Tim, has known Manla Valley for years and enjoys visiting with her every time she brings guests to her place. Over time, thousands of hill tribe people migrated south from China into northern Thailand. The largest group is the Karen, the most settled of the tribes, and they live in permanent villages. They are subsistence farmers who grow vegetables and rice and raise pigs and chickens. But for good or bad, the times are changing. Tim explains, and when she says costume, she is referring to their traditional dress.
Okay, this is the one that many of them still put a costume on. Okay, but for the new generation, again, because of that they learn in the school, if they put a costume on, they'll not be happy because of the children in the school gonna teach them that nobody want to be the stranger. And another word that everybody try to get and try to be civilization. What is civilization? For them, this means that get a life like a city people. Electronics, the transport. Okay, that's the meaning of the civilization for someone.
And now, my friends, watch closely as you're going to see a bit of history that is fading away before our eyes. I was blessed to meet Lahu and be invited to share this moment with her.
Lahu basically live on the elevation about 5,000 feet up. So we call these people great hunter.
And yes, in the words of Bob Dylan, the times they are a-changing. One tradition that will probably continue here as it draws tourists like us is the wearing of brass neck rings. Girls start to wear them at about 5 years of age. They told us that it symbolizes their cultural identity and is a sign of beauty. And wouldn't these bamboo mugs be a nice souvenir for about $1 each? But after seeing how they are made, I consider them priceless. While one of the young ladies performs for us, let's explore. What a fascinating and wonderful place, and the women of the village bid us farewell with a traditional dance. Our time in Chiang Mai was coming to an end, but we still had time for a fun evening at the Kentucky Dinner Show. And the evening concluded with members of the audience being invited to join the performance. The perfect ending to a perfect day. We have arrived at the Masa Elephant Camp, a place that I'm anxious to visit along with all of you. It's home to one of the largest herds of artistic elephants in Thailand, and hard to believe they can really paint pictures, and I hope I'll be able to purchase one to bring back to Vermont. Upon entering, we were all warmly greeted, and I got my elephant kiss. Mary was all wrapped up in elephant affection. The Masa Elephant Camp was established in 1976 to save domesticated elephants from throughout Thailand. Once employed in the logging industry, the elephants found themselves out of jobs when heavy equipment was brought in to replace them. They ended up roaming the streets with their mahout, a trainer and caregiver, begging for food. Here, they again found their self-worth, whether as entertainers, artists, or just elephants on a warm afternoon. Yes, I said entertainers and artists, and this all started some 15 years ago. The idea of training elephants to perform and paint was a novel concept, unheard of anywhere else. When the baby elephants at the Masa nursery reach 2 years of age, it's time to separate them from their mothers. From that day forward, they live with and are trained by their mahout, learning commands, performing skills, and some trained to be artists. Just to hold a paintbrush was a challenge. Initially, the young elephants reluctant to pick up a brush, but after months of training, they learned how to put paint onto paper, starting with dots and lines, and over time, each develops their own unique and distinctive style. You have been watching Thong Thai painting a floral arrangement, and when the leaves were finished, the red flowers were added. Just amazing, isn't it? And I am pleased to tell you that his painting is now hanging in my house with fond memories of that memorable day with the elephants of Masa. Thailand has a tropical and moist climate and is among those with the highest average daily temperatures, close to 90 degrees. I might compare it to living in a greenhouse, a bit uncomfortable, but oh, what a tropical paradise. About 95% of the people in Thailand worship Lord Buddha, who teaches that happiness comes from an inner peace that eliminates negativity and greed, leading the way to a generous and kind heart. Throughout the country, I found this to be true, and I hope you sense a similar feeling as you travel along with me. The next morning, we visited Wat Suan, the site of a Buddhist university and a summer school for children being educated in the ways of the religion. Some will remain committed, while others will look for other opportunities. Nam is sporting a hairstyle called a top knot. In days past, the cutting of the knot was revered as the rite of passage, that of leaving childhood behind to take on the responsibilities of a young man. This is a very sacred place for all Buddhists in Thailand, for within that golden dome, called a chedai, is a bone from Lord Buddha himself. Upon Buddha's death, his bones were distributed throughout the region, and this piece is believed to be from the shoulder bone. Legend says that in the 13th century, the king of Suan placed another bone on the back of a white elephant. It eventually climbed a mountain where it trumpeted 3 times and died. Another most holy place we'll soon visit. But first, a quick look around Suan. It has one of the largest prayer halls, unusual not only for its size, but it's open rather than being totally enclosed. Many beautiful Buddhist statues are here. This one holds a broom made of straw, signifying the importance of cleanliness of both body and mind. The most striking is this one seated in meditation, surrounded by smaller Buddhas that have been added over time. Remember the white elephant that carried Buddha's bone up the mountain? We are there now. Pratat Doi Suthep. And to reach this sacred place, there are 309 steps that Buddhists and visitors from around the world climb to receive his spiritual blessings. About halfway up, I had to rest as the temperature was close to 100 degrees, and little Yanisa gave me a hug to cheer me on. Doi Suthep has been a holy place for more than 1,200 years and the model for similar places of worship throughout northern Thailand. At the top, I was astonished at the devotion from young and old, and in this case, pictures speak far louder than words. Prayer robes are draped over statues of Buddha, and upon leaving, we were given the opportunity to put our names on one of them. By adding oil to the flame of eternal happiness, all can receive a sacred and unique blessing. I will be happy forever and ever and always be supported by angels. Thank you, Lord Buddha. Our amazing journey concluded with a farewell dinner at the lovely home of the Bupratana family. Ya, the youngest son, is the chef, and he began with a short cooking class on the Thai way to prepare curry and a soup using only fresh ingredients.
Coconut milk. This is fresh. We'll enjoy the food, and then I'm going to go to the kitchen and cook the rest of the food.
And enjoy it we did, all being very impressed by his use of only locally grown organic produce, all from nearby farms. As daylight faded into darkness, Ya took us outside where we had the most beautiful and meaningful moment of our journey, the release of wish balloons to carry away our troubles and misfortunes as they floated far away into the night. For Across the Fence, I'm Lyn Jarvis in northern Thailand. Thank you for watching.